Preacher Season 2, Episode 12, On Your Knees. So in this week of Jesse doing dumb stuff that came around to screw everybody over, of course we have the Saint of Killers making his return because Jesse never sent him to hell. Like, that was just it. Like, Jesse never sent him to hell. He was in that truck. The Grill ended up finding him. You know, they don't really explain all that, but they searched, they found him, they replaced the truck, they took him out. He was there for, I believe, 2 weeks, they said, and he's just, punching on the door consistently, trying to break through, but he can't. And the guy's telling him, is like, you've gotten weak, you've gotten weaker, and you have, and all you need to do is agree to our terms, and that's pretty much it. And I thought that was very interesting. By the time things, kind of came around at the end of the episode, I was like, wow, this is not what I was expecting for, like, the next best thing as far as heaven and stuff. So I was like, okay, let's see what happens here. So they go through the episode. Of course, we get the scene from the end of the last episode where the guy's like, thanks for agreeing to our terms. I'll just, do what you do. And he unlocks the doors and he takes off because he knows that dude would have murdered him. So he takes off. Saint of Killers, he goes. First thing he does, he gets a drink at the bar, takes a shot. Then he's like, all right, time to murder. So he goes through and, we have the characters finally in this episode. They're starting to truly get past the issues that they've had for the past couple of episodes ever since the Saint of Killers, first came around. And Jesse's like, look, I found God. Turns out he was, man dog. And he took off. He took off and, it's a crazy thing, but, they have a full-on conversation. Everything actually ends up working out. It's like everything seems to be cool. Cassidy is still worried about that dog. He has to hide the dog from his son still, which is bothering me a little bit. So, they have their conversation and it's like, alright, this is officially what happened. Things were bad. Things got real bad. Real bad, and they sucked. Let's just kind of be friends again. So everything's starting to work out. It's like, we're going to have some drinks. We're just going to sit, watch some TV. And it was simple. And it was supposed to work. And then the Saint of Killers comes in. And, of course, the first person he interacts with is Tulip, which is, that's been her nightmare. That's been, like, her story arc for the past couple of episodes, is the nightmare that this man could actually return. And he does. And she's super badass because, of course, she still ends up, after all this stuff she went through, still ends up fighting back to try to save Jesse. Like, she, attacks him. He, does, like, one flick and she lands and, flies into the wall. So she's out for a minute until, he's in the apartment. And so he ends up, I guess he didn't really kill him. I guess he broke his neck. I think he just, like, paralyzed and that's what happened. Because Jesse mentions later that his head was at, like, such a weird angle. I think he just, like, snapped his neck so he couldn't walk. So, takes him out. Then he goes, he's just walking along and Cassidy ends up going back in the apartment. Jesse goes back in. He sees Cassidy get launched. And so it's like, okay, well, you're back. I know how this played out last time, so, on your knees. And he tries to, control him again. And I was like, okay, that didn't work. I feel like they didn't explain that. Maybe it was something I missed, but I felt like they didn't actually explain why the soul thing couldn't work. Because they do mention after everything's all said and done that he still has his soul. Like, the Saint of Killers does still have Jesse's soul within him. So I am still very confused as to how he, like, was immune for some reason to Genesis. They didn't really explain that to me. But goes through and Jesse's like, alright, it's not working. He tries. He gets socked straight in the throat. Then Cassidy comes in. He gets launched through the wall, which I thought was actually pretty great. And then, basically, Jesse just proceeds to get beat up. He stands for a minute. Of course, this is the Saint of Killers just using his hands. Like, he probably could have just, like, crushed his face with his hands because he's got super strength. But, he was making it last for sure. Because he was flipping him and punching him and tossing him around. Like, he could just snap his neck instantaneously if that's what he really wanted to do. But he's beating him up, flipping him, flopping him, tossing him into the wall, everything. And once he finally knocks him out, that's when Tulip comes back into play, and she does not give up the fight, and she keeps it going for a minute, and it was really good. It was really well done. Ultimately, it's the Saint of Killers. He does have super strength. He gets, like, that one good opportunity where he doesn't miss, and, she doesn't dodge fast enough. It's like, alright, well, that's all I needed, and he's able, everyone's knocked out, everyone's done for again, and sits Jesse in this chair, and he's about to scalp him. And that's when the lady from hell shows up. And that's who the people in the background were. They were like the bodyguards. And so she shows up and is like, alright, time to go back to hell. And he's like, you can't, that's not fair. You can't do that. It's like, well, it's better you than, someone else, like maybe your wife or your daughter. And of course, that is a huge part of this episode because we get his story. We get at least some of the Saint Killer story with the flashbacks where they have, and they make a great connection to, the whole on your knees thing, where that was a huge deal for him when it happened because of Jesse, because they have that scene when he goes, he goes to another he says to say he's like preacher and stuff, so he's like, on your knees and everything like that, and that's so that he can basically, be born again and be a better person, and he has the wife and child and everything's good for them, and then of course it's the no more killing deal and all that stuff, which is why he let everything go when, he was initially going to save them, basically. And it was just very interesting. It was like, okay, you have that, that added bit of dialogue there where it's like, no more killing, no more, excuse me, no more being a bad person in general. And he was trying to make that work because he loved what he had, and it just all fell apart. And then, of course, he goes and they're dead. The guy kills his horse and everything, and he has to walk back home for, forever. Gets there, they're dead. The no more killing, no more, just no more bad stuff was just like, well, they're dead. I'm super pissed. I'm just gonna murder this entire town, and then of course he dies because a crazy superstorm came in and wiped the entire town away. So it was pretty nuts. We get that backstory of him and what he was truly, how hard he was really trying to work to not be the crappy person that he was beforehand. And like I said, they make those parallels between what Jesse had done and him trying to, in the past, be a better person, like his start to being a better person, and how that all kind of came back around with Jesse. So it's very cool. They do have a great line where, like they talk about, Jesse before, he mentioned he didn't want to send another person to hell. And in this episode, the Saint Killers is like, the only reason you didn't send me to hell is because you gave me your soul. And that's the only reason. Like, you're too scared to send your own soul to hell. And I thought that was interesting. I was like, that probably makes way more sense than Jesse being guilty about sending Eugene to hell. And I just thought that was very interesting. I was like, I think he's right, because everything Jesse has done lately has been super selfish stuff, where it's like, all he had to do was send him to hell, and, everything would have been fine. But instead, he put him in a truck in the water, that sort of deal. It's like, yeah, that actually makes way more sense. It's not that he felt guilty with what he did with Eugene, which did make sense, but him being selfish, based off of the last couple episodes, honestly just makes way more sense to me. It's like, I'm going to believe that over what Jesse actually said. So I just thought that was a good line that they gave for the Saint Killers, but definitely awesome. And I was just like, where things headed when he's got Jesse in the chair, starting to cut him. And that's, like I said, that's when the lady shows up and they take him back to hell. And she's like, you're lucky you have someone like Airstar looking out for you. And I was just like, wow, I did not see that coming. That's probably not the actual deal that the Saint Killers made, but they knew that that would be, a much better deal for them, overall. It's like, all right, we do all of this, Saint Killers comes out. Technically, of course, Jesse has no idea that they're the ones that took the Saint Killers to release him, and, they put things into motion for like this super over-the-top plan. So they don't know that, and ultimately it comes down to, you're lucky, Hairstar is pretty awesome and he helped you out, like you've got a great friend in him. So it's like their ultimate plan, and I'm pretty sure it worked, because after everything's all said and done, it's like, okay, that was crazy. The Saint Killers came back. Thank goodness Hairstar helped us out. Saint Killers has gone to hell. Everything's great. You guys go to that, go to the hospital, get checked up on. Turns out the ambulance just leads them straight to Hairstar, which was a great sequence, because Cassidy was awesome in that scene. Like, I loved him. He was just like, as Hairstar was talking, he's just like, Jesus, you were just ugly. It's like, I can't help it. This was like the first thing that came to my mind, and I had to say it out loud. And it was just so funny. He was just like, why does he get to talk? Like, why don't we tell him to shut up and stuff? And so it was like, would you just let me hear what the heck he's trying to say? So, of course, they get all the information about, what Jesse's been doing with the Grail, and learning about the Messiah, and him taking over for the Messiah and all that stuff. So that kind of rekindles all that anger when they go back to him. And it's like, what the heck? They weren't super angry. They weren't nearly as angry as they seemed when they first showed up, because then it's like, they actually do end up going out to eat and everything's fine. They're talking about, Cassie's talking about a unicorn, drinking some water and stuff. But, they talk about it, and ultimately his plan is to become the new Messiah. Like, that is the goal for him. Is like, I have this ability, I'm trying to think the name. Humperdew was the guy's name. He's like, we can't let him, be the Messiah. So I think I'm the one that has to do it, even if that means, leaving you guys behind. As much as I want to be there, someone has to be the Messiah, and Jesse now feels like it's him. And of course, with everything that just happened, he feels great that the Grail would be there by his side. But based on the promo, I don't think he's going to be too happy for too much longer. So I am looking forward to the season finale, which is crazy that it's the season finale. That really surprised me. But it should be exciting. It should definitely be exciting. And of course, I'm looking forward to what they do with Eugene. We have Eugene's story in this episode. And it's fairly simple, super funny, because I didn't know what was going to happen in, like, his little nightmare thing. Like, characters just kept coming out. I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. Like, the mascot dude they brought back, and then his father comes back, and he's got the face. You can tell that was CG compared to the way they do with Eugene, where it's actually all the makeup and stuff. They probably didn't want to have to do that for 2 people for 1 episode, which I totally understand. But that was pretty cool. So Eugene and Hitler, it's still weird. But ultimately they do end up making their escape. But I did love the sequence where eventually, Eugene's fighting back, and they just keep going, and it's like, the girl's like, show me your penis, and he does, and she's like, ew, I think I'm gonna kill myself. And it was just like, wow, how far is this gonna go to have it, be his nightmare? So it was funny how things just kept playing out, but ultimately he fought back, and he and Hitler, they're crawling over the things, and they have, the different nightmares planned and stuff like that. So they're basically making their grand escape. Like I mentioned before, I figured it would kind of be this way, but I was hoping that it would be like a couple of episodes before the finale, but odds are they're going to make their ultimate escape from hell by the end of the season finale, which, like I think I said that in like episode 3 or something, where I was like, I really hope that it is not the end of the season where they escape. It's like at least 1 episode beforehand and we get to see, but it makes sense. That's a big story. And it's one of those cliffhanger things where it's like, I definitely cannot wait to see his story in season 3, because he's going to officially be outside of hell. Hitler is out of hell. I'm so curious. Like, I'm still thinking, like, I know they've done all this stuff, like, oh, he felt really bad, and this worst nightmare is that, that was the time he lost himself, and, after that day is when he became, like, Hitler, and it's like, that's his actual nightmare in hell, so maybe all of that stuff is true. But it's still Hitler, so it's just like real world stuff. I'm still just like, I just think he's gonna be Hitler and turn evil. So I don't know. It's like that funny thing where it's like, it's really hard to say, because I'm just constantly thinking of real Hitler. But the show has done a lot to show that he's like very remorseful and stuff like that. And like I said, his worst nightmare in hell was the day, when he lost everything. So I don't know. Maybe he will actually be decent. It'll be weird to see what they end up doing with that, how long Hitler lives in the modern day, but definitely excited to see them escape by the season finale. So glad it's happening. Like I said, though, I still of course wish it happened a little bit sooner, just so we could see everything that's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to show up, are they going to show up in the town after it's been nuked and after it blew up and everything. It's like, what exactly is going to take place? So I'm very curious what we will get to see once they kind of break out. Is he just going to show up like where the church used to be, because that's where he was, that sort of thing. So very curious, what's going to end up happening there. But thought it was great that they're, getting close to their escape now. Like I said, everything with Jesse looks cool. And then season finale coming up. I wish I knew this. Apparently this was the case the entire time. But I guess all the promos are at the end of every episode I've been watching online, because I'm still watching them online. It's like you have to watch the credits and then the promo starts for the next episode. It's in the episode though. It's not like its own individual clip that you can search for, which I personally thought was really stupid, because I never watched through the credits to see that, because I was like, they're not going to do that, because the promo is always its own clip on every website ever. The promo for the next episode is its own clip. So apparently I could have been watching the promos this whole time and I just never knew. I just thought they didn't upload them by the time I watched them, because it was like the very next day. But apparently they're just right at the end, so I got to see the promo for the season finale. Jesse's super pissed, and it should be interesting. I don't know if who he's gonna kill, what's gonna happen. It's like they have a part of him fighting Cassidy, him being mad at their star, where it's like, you tricked me and stuff, and everyone's, naturally everyone's mad at Jesse. Jesse's mad at the Grail, but the Grail, like something has to have happened for him to realize that he was tricked. So that's the main thing that I'm looking forward to, is like, what happened that made Jesse realize, crap, this was a huge mistake, and they tricked me, into making it. So looking forward to the season finale for sure. But of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below, let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it, and naturally, with the season finale coming up next week, I would love to know your theories, just what you guys want to see in general. For me, definitely want to see what's going to happen with Eugene and Hitler, and then because I don't know what allowed Jesse to realize he was tricked, that's probably like my second most anticipated moment from the season finale. So definitely looking forward to it. But like I said, we'll love to know your theories and just what you guys want to see for next week's season finale. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.